Hello guys, welcome back to DeclanTube TV. Today we are going to be playing Among Us. And depending on how you guys react, I may play it more on the channel. But not as much as Minecraft, obviously. I'm just gonna do a quick match. Just more interested in playing than talking. So, if it's because I want just to play. So, people are probably going to be wondering, hey Declan, why haven't you posted yesterday? Because I'm posting this on a Wednesday. And, oh wait, I have scan. Gotta go. 3, 6. Alright, so, wait, 3, 2, 1. Dang it! Okay. Wait, was this a report or another? It depends, because I'm just gonna skip. I might see. What I might think. It could be White. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on him. If he dies, then it's somebody else, but not me. I'm not openly stating my thoughts on the chat, because if I do, I could look sus if White dies. So I can't say it that much. Okay. Keep my eyes out. I'm not gonna finish it just in case. Blue might be AFK. 5, 8, 9, 6, 4. Okay, we're good. We're good, Declan, we're good. Wait, if I do this first try, you have to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Or I'm gonna. Where? Hold on, real quick. Let me see if I have censored chat on. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna turn that on for the younger audience. I feel bad for Pink. You know, that's yeah, that's Pink. I'm sorry. Okay, who are we voting for? I sus white. Okay, just skip. Okay. I'm not trying to look sus, because if I get sussed out, I'm going into space. And that's not fun. I should say I have med bay, because then I can tell everybody I'm clear and stuff. I'm gonna do my nav task right there. I hate doing this task because it makes me look sus a little bit. Because I'm standing over a vent, what the heck? Where's my grid? Where's my grid? Bay and blue was with me during noise. I have my bay and blue was with me during roads. It could be. Very well could be. So we can't have anybody vote skip because then the imposters have about 5 players. My next video is going to be a Minecraft video. Okay, at least I'm not on anybody's radar. That's really good. Okay. There we go. Nice. All right. I'm gonna use my only 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And now everybody's glad I have the sensor channel on. I'm just gonna vote skip. Well, no, I'm voting red because red's sus. Everybody's voting me because I just, dang it. That's why you never call a meeting. And I'm showing you why you should never call a meeting.
Oh yeah, Joker, we have a Legend of Zelda set.
I have a long thumb. I don't know why. I'm probably not gonna post any pictures on my thumb on YouTube. That'd be weird. Dang it. Alright. Well, it's wait. I can see who it is by doing this. Now that I'm dead. I knew it. It's red. Dang it. Oh, I'm a ghost now. Oh, my blood type is B negative? That's weird. Oh man, that's sad. The pet's right there. It's always sad. I don't know if I have any pets in the game. I think I'm done with all my tasks. Yeah, I'm done with all my tasks. It's red. Sorry. I can make like 15 different voices. And half of them are like crazy. Oh. Red just took a life. Dang it. It's obviously red. Obviously red. Red's the imp. And we're all going to die because there's... Wait, how many crewmates are there? Okay, so... I'm dead. Orange is dead. Hold on. Banana died just like 5 seconds ago. Joe Mama left. Hold on. Boo. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna show you one of my favorite skins to use. Which one? This one? No, I'm gonna use the, generally speaking. Nemo, catch a tiger by its tail if he hovers. Okay, there we go. Whee! Okay, let's go. Okay, now imposter, which means I'm safe. Chart colors. I hate how fast we are right now. It is very hard to maneuver. I've played the VR version. I'm probably not going to do any videos on VR because I don't know how. That's probably what I'm going to do my second channel on, like VR. Or maybe reading comments. But without the face. Oh, by the way, next week I am posting 2 videos instead of just 1 because next week is the beginning of the of a new month, so I will be posting an animation. So skip. Okay, so skip. And just like that, I sway the vote. Alright. I might report Red, for the newer Red, with the suit because of his very explicit thing. Never mind, I can't, because that meeting just ended. So, never mind. Skipped. Okay. O2. Okay, I've got to go O2. Okay. This task is pretty easy. It's black. It's black. Bye, black. Peace. And I survive. If it's cyan, I'm gonna freak out. Because cyan just... I hate how fast we are going. Black is imp. It's black.
Resuming Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Book
Sorry
one
if
from
you're
Audible.
hearing
There's about 6
my
minutes
background
left in this
noises.
chapter and about 3
Echo.
hours.
Play Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Resuming Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Book 4
Okay.
from Audible.
Real quick,
There's
I'm gonna
about
go for black.
24 minutes left in this chapter and
Black
about
and
15
brown.
hours.
It's black and brown.
23 minutes left in this book.
So,
Plants Harry had ever seen. Indeed,
They're
they looked less like plants
both
than thick,
in- yep,
black
I'm right,
giant
yeah.
slugs protruding vertically out of the soil. Each was squirming
if you can hear my
slightly,
background
and
noises, I am sorry.
shiny swellings upon it, which appeared to
It's
be
brown.
full of liquid.
It's brown. It's brown. Dang it, dang it, dang it.
Tubers,
Oh,
Professor Sprout
dang
told them
it.
briskly. They need squeezing. You will collect the pus.
Dang.
The what? Said Seamus Finnegan, sounding revolted. Pus, Finnegan, pus, said Professor Sprout. And it's extremely valuable, so don't waste it. You will collect the pus, I say, in these bottles. Wear your dragon-hide gloves. It can do funny things to the skin when undiluted. Booba-tuba pus. Squeezing the bubo tubers was disgusting, but oddly satisfying. As each swelling was popped, a large amount of thick, yellowish-green liquid burst forth and smelled strongly of petrol. They caught it in the bottle, indicated, and by the end of the lesson had collected several pounds.
Stay away. Look sus.
Professor Sprout, stopping the last bottle with a cork. An excellent remedy
Okay,
for the
so
more stubborn forms of acne.
this next one.
Tuber pus should stop students resorting
Ooh,
to
I like using this roll. I like using this roll.
cells of pimples. Like poor Eloise Midgen, said Hannah Abbott, a Hufflepuff, in a hushed voice. She tried to curse hers off. Silly girl, said Professor Sprout, shaking her head. But Madame Pomfrey fixed her nose back on in the end. A booming bell echoed from the castle across the wet grounds, signaling the end of the lesson, and the class separated. The Hufflepuffs climbing the stone steps for Transfiguration, and the Gryffindors heading in the other direction, down the sloping lawn toward Hagrid's small wooden cabin, which stood on the edge of the Forbidden Forest. Hagrid was standing outside his hut, one hand on the collar of his enormous black boarhound, Fang.
Okay, so
There were several open wooden crates on the ground at his feet, and Fang was whimpering and straining at his collar, apparently keen to investigate the contents more closely. As they drew nearer, an odd rattling noise reached their ears, punctuated by what sounded like minor explosions. Morning, Hagrid said,
I don't care
grinning
anymore.
at Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Better wait for the Slytherins. They won't want to miss this. Blast-ended scroots. Come again, said Ron. Hagrid pointed down into the crates.
So
squealed Lavender Brown, jumping backward.
Honestly, I don't care anymore, so I'm probably just gonna
Just
leave.
about summed up the blast-ended Scroots in Harry's opinion. They looked like deformed, shellless lobsters. Horribly pale and slimy looking, with legs
I'm playing
sticking
mobile,
out
by
in
the way.
very odd places and no visible heads. There were about 100 of them in each crate, each about 6 inches long, crawling over one another, bumping blindly into the sides of the boxes.
I'm
They
probably
were
just gonna
giving off a
go.
very powerful smell of rotting fish. Every now and then, sparks would fly out of the end of a screw, and with a small "fut," it would be propelled forward several inches.
You could be angry, but
Just
you can't.
hatched, said Hagrid proudly. So you'll be able to raise them yourselves. Thought we'd make a bit of a project of it.
Okay.
Said a cold voice. The Slytherins had arrived. The speaker was Draco Malfoy. Crabbe and Goyle were chuckling appreciatively
This
at his
is again,
words.
I am sorry
Hagrid looked
if
stumped.
you hear my background noise.
I mean, what
I
do
am
they
not
do?
meaning to.
Asked Malfoy. What is
I don't
the
have anything
point,
fancy. I
Malfoy?
don't have a fancy studio yet,
Hagrid
so.
opened his mouth, apparently thinking hard. There was a few seconds pause.
Oh, and tracker, wait, hold on a
Said
minute.
roughly, "That's next lesson, Malfoy.
First try.
You're just feeding
Get a like
them
and
today.
subscribe again.
Now, you'll want to try them on a few different things. I've never had them before. Not sure what they'll go for. I got ant eggs and frog livers and a bit of grass snake. Just try them out with a bit of each." "First pus, now this," muttered Seamus. Nothing but deep affection for Hagrid could have made Harry, Ron and Hermione pick up squelchy handfuls of frog liver and lower them into the crates to tempt the blast-ended Scroots. Harry couldn't suppress the suspicion that the whole thing was entirely pointless, because the Scroots didn't seem to have mouths. "Ouch!" yelled Dean Thomas after about 10 minutes. "It got me!" Hagrid hurried over to him, looking anxious. "Its end exploded," said Dean angrily, showing Hagrid a burn on his hand. "Ah, yeah, that can happen when they blast off," said Hagrid, nodding. "Oh," said Lavender Brown again. "Oh, Hagrid, what's that pointy thing on it?"
Oh no, not anonymous votes. I hate that.
Said Hagrid
Dang it.
enthusiastically. Lavender quickly
No one
withdrew her
voted to
hand
skip.
from the box.
It was a real big majority.
Females have got sort of sucker things on their bellies. I think they might be to suck blood.
If they die, then.
Well, I can certainly see why we're trying to keep them alive, said Malfoy sarcastically.
They're good.
Who wouldn't want pets that can burn, sting, and bite all at once? Just because they're not very pretty, it doesn't mean they're not useful.
Remember, I can see them on my map
Dragons
right
are
now,
amazingly
so
magical, but you wouldn't want a dragon.
I've been playing Among Us since 2020, so.
Grinned at Hagrid, who gave them a furtive smile from behind his bushy beard. Hagrid would have liked nothing better than a pet dragon, as Harry, Ron and Hermione knew only too well. He had owned one for a brief period during their first year, a vicious ridgeback by the name of Norbert. Hagrid simply loved monstrous creatures. The more lethal, the better. Well, at least the Scroots are small, said Ron as they made their way back up to the castle for lunch an hour later. They are now, said Hermione in an exasperated voice, but once Hagrid's found out what they eat, I expect they'll be 6 feet long. Well, that won't matter if they turn out to cure seasickness or something, will it? Said Ron, grinning slyly at her. You know perfectly well I only said that to shut Malfoy up, said Hermione. As a matter of fact, I think he's right. The best thing to do would be to stamp on the lot of them before they start attacking us all. They sat down at the Gryffindor table and helped themselves to lamb chops and potatoes. Hermione began to eat so fast that Harry and Ron stared at her.
I'm voting co-op.
Is this the new stand on elf rights? Said Ron. You're going to make yourself puke instead? No, said Hermione, with as much dignity as she could muster with her mouth bulging with sprouts. I just want to get to the library. What? Said Ron in disbelief. Hermione, it's the first day back. We haven't even got homework yet. Hermione shrugged and continued to shovel down her food
it could
as
be
though she had not
gray.
eaten for days. Then she leapt to her feet.
But it
said,
probably is
"See you at dinner."
coral. It probably is
Departed at
coral.
high speed. When the bell rang to signal the start of afternoon lessons, Harry and Ron set off for North Tower, where, at the top of a tight,
Okay.
spiraling staircase,
3, 2,
a silver
1.
stepladder led to a circular trapdoor in the ceiling and the room where Professor Trelawney lived.
And that's why you never trust the name tag,
Perfume
boys.
spreading from the fire met their nostrils as they emerged at the top of the stepladder. As ever, the curtains were all closed. The circular room was bathed in a dim reddish light cast by the many lamps, which were all draped with scarves and shawls. Harry and Ron walked through the mass of occupied chintz chairs and books that cluttered the room, and sat down at the long, small circular table. "Good day," said the misty voice of Professor Trelawney right behind Harry, making him jump. A very thin woman with enormous glasses that made her eyes appear far too large for her face. Professor Trelawney was peering down at Harry with the tragic expression she always wore whenever she saw him. The usual large amount of beads, chains, and bangles glittered upon the person in the firelight. "You are preoccupied, my dear," she said mournfully to Harry. "My inner eye sees past your brave face to the troubled soul within, and I regret to say that your worries are not baseless. I see difficult times ahead for you, alas, most difficult. I fear the thing you dread will indeed come to
I'm gonna
pass.
skip. We don't have any evidence.
Her voice dropped
yeah.
almost to a whisper. Ron rolled his eyes at Harry, who looked stonily back. Professor Trelawney swept past them and seated herself in a large
Alright, we skipping
before
again?
the fire facing the class.
Alright.
Lavender Brown and Parvati Patil, who deeply admired Professor Trelawney, were sitting on puffs very close. "My dears, it is time for us to consider this science,"
I really don't like it. This
movements
right
of the
now.
planets
I don't
have
like the dark.
mysterious portents they reveal only to those who understand the steps of the celestial
There we go,
dance.
there we go.
Human destiny may be deciphered by the planetary waves, which
Isn't the same.
But Harry's thoughts had drifted. The perfume fire always made him feel sleepy and dull-witted, and Professor Trelawney's rambling talks on fortune-telling never held him exactly spellbound, though he couldn't help thinking about what she had just said to him. "I fear that we will indeed come to pass." But
Could be
Hermione
blue,
was
but
right.
it's
Harry
probably
thought
gray.
irritably. Professor Trelawney really was an old fraud. He wasn't dreading anything at the moment at all. Well, unless you counted
not
his
really
fears
says of
that
anybody right now,
Sirius had
though.
been caught. But what did Professor
was a-
Trelawney know?
Looking
He had long
around
since
doing a
come to the
test.
conclusion
No,
that her
that's
brand
a
of
bad idea.
fortune-telling was really no more than lucky guesswork and a spooky manner. Except, of course, for that time at the end of last term, when she had made the prediction about Voldemort
Okay,
rising
so
again.
this is
And
the easiest
Dumbledore
task ever.
himself had said that he thought that trance had been genuine when Harry
Okay, we gotta
had
fix the lights real
described
quick.
it to him. Harry,
Also, I
Ron
dragged him.
muttered. "What?" Harry looked
Easy.
around. The whole class was staring at him. He sat up straight. He had been almost dozing off, lost in the heat and his thoughts. "I was saying, my dear, that you were clearly born under the baleful influence of
no.
Saturn,"
Wait.
said Professor Trelawney, a faint note of resentment in her voice at the fact that he had obviously not been hanging on her words. "Born under... Sorry," said Harry. "Saturn, dear, the planet Saturn," said Professor Trelawney, sounding definitely irritated that he wasn't riveted by this news. "I was saying that Saturn was fully in a position of power in the heavens at the moment of your birth. Your dark hair, your mean stature, tragic losses so young in life. I think I'm right in saying, my dear, that you were born in winter." "No," said Harry. "I was born in July." Ron hastily turned his laugh into a hacking cough. Half an hour later, each of them had been given a complicated circular chart and was attempting to fill in the position of the planets at their moment of birth. It was dull work, requiring much consultation of timetables and calculation of angles. "I've got 2 Neptunes here," said Harry after a while, frowning down at his piece of parchment. "That can't be right, can it?" "Ah," said Ron, imitating Professor Trelawney's mystical whisper. "When 2 Neptunes appear in the sky, it is a sure sign that a midget
maybe
in
what?
glasses is being born. I mean..." Seamus and Dean,
Okay, I'm gonna
who were working nearby, sniggered loudly, though not loudly enough to mask the excited squeals from Lavender Brown. Oh, Professor, look! I think I've got an unaspected planet. Ooh, which one's that, Professor?
Dang it! I almost got white voted out. Dang it.
My dear, said Professor Trelawney, peering down at the chart. Can I have a look at Uranus, too, Lavender? Said
Alright.
Most unfortunately, Professor Trelawney heard, and it was this, perhaps, that made her give them so much homework at the end of the class. A detailed analysis of the way the planetary movements in the coming month will affect you with reference to your personal chart. She snapped, sounding much more like Professor McGonagall than her usual airy-fairy self. I want it ready to hand in next Monday, and no excuses.
So I have people who can vouch for me.
Said Ron bitterly as they joined the crowds descending the staircases back to the great hall and dinner. That'll take all weekend, that won't. Lots of homework, said Hermione brightly, catching up with them. Professor Vector didn't give us any at all. Well, bully for Professor Vector, said Ron moodily. They reached the entrance hall, which was packed with people queuing for dinner. They had just joined the end of the line when a loud voice ran out behind them. Weasley! Hey, Weasley! Harry, Ron, and Hermione turned. Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle were standing there, each looking thoroughly pleased about something. What? Said Ron shortly. Your dad's in the paper.
Panicking. Dang it, why am I panicking?
Malfoy, branded a copy of the Daily
I was lagging on that.
Speaking very loudly so that everyone in the packed entrance hall could hear. Listen to this. Further mistakes at the Ministry of Magic. It seems as though the Ministry of Magic's troubles are not yet at an end, writes Rita Skeeter, special correspondent. Recently under fire for its poor crowd control at the Quidditch World Cup, and still unable to account for the disappearance of one of its witches, the Ministry was plunged into fresh embarrassment yesterday by the antics of Arnold Weasley of the Misuse of Muggle Artifacts Office. Malfoy looked up. Imagine them not even getting his name right, Weasley. It's almost as though he's a complete non-entity, isn't it? He crowed. Everyone in the entrance hall was listening now. Malfoy straightened the paper with a flourish and read on. Arnold Weasley, who was charged with possession of a flying car 2 years ago, was yesterday involved in a tussle with several Muggle lawkeepers, policemen, over a number of highly aggressive dustbins. Mr. Weasley appeared to have rushed to the aid of Mad-Eye Moody, the aged ex-Auror, who retired from the Ministry when no longer able to tell the difference between a handshake and attempted murder. Unsurprisingly, Mr. Weasley found upon arrival at Mr. Moody's heavily guarded house that Mr. Moody had once again raised a false alarm. Mr. Weasley was forced to modify several memories before he could escape from the policeman, but refused to answer Daily Prophet questions about why he had involved the Ministry in such an undignified and potentially embarrassing scene. And there's a picture, Weasley,
so white,
said Malfoy,
purple
the paper
could be imposters, but
a picture
we can't be
of
too
your
sure.
parents outside their house.
I'm not an imposter, obviously, because I would have a red name.
Could do with losing a bit of weight, couldn't she? Ron was shaking with fury. Everyone was staring.
Probably.
Get stuffed, Malfoy, said Harry. Come on, Ron. Oh, yeah. You were staying with him this summer, weren't you, Potter? Sneered Malfoy. So tell me, is his mother really that porky, or is it just the picture? You know your mother, Malfoy, said Harry. Both he and Hermione had grabbed the back of Ron's robes to stop him from launching himself at Malfoy. That expression she's got, like she's got dung under her nose. Has she always looked like that? Or was it just because you were with her? Malfoy's pale face went slightly pink. Don't you dare insult my mother, Potter. Keep your fat mouth shut then, said Harry, turning away. Bang! Several people screamed. Harry felt something quite hot graze the side of his face. He plunged his hand into his robes for his wand,
I'm gonna try.
but before
Because
he
I don't
even
think
touched it, he heard a second
Joe!
loud bang and a roar that echoed through the entrance hall. Oh no, you don't, laddie!
Nice, I got an
Harry spun
achievement.
around. Professor
Nice.
Moody was limping down the marble staircase. His wand was out and it was pointing right at a pure white ferret,
Who was
which
it?
was shivering on the stone-flagged floor, exactly where Malfoy had been standing. There was a terrified silence in the entrance door. Nobody but Moody was moving a muscle. Moody turned to look at Harry. At least his normal eye was looking at Harry. The other one was pointing into the back of his head. Did he get you? Moody growled. His voice was low and growly. No, said Harry. Missed. Leave it! Moody shouted. Leave what? Harry said, bewildered. Not you. Him. Moody growled, jerking his thumb over his shoulder at Crab, who had just frozen, about to pick up the white ferret. It seemed that Moody's rolling eye was
After this
magical
match, I'm gonna
and
end the
pulsing
video,
out of the back
so-
of his head. Moody started to limp toward Crab, Goyle, and the ferret, which gave a terrified squeak and turned, streaking toward the dungeons. Roared Moody,
Okay, so
pointing
after
his
this match,
wand at
I'm
the ferret
ending the
again.
video,
It flew
and
10 feet
I
into
will
the
say
air,
goodnight to you
fell
guys,
with a smack
because
to
I
the
am
floor, and
doing
then
this at
bounced
night.
upward once
This
more.
video is happening at night, so
When their opponents'
okay,
backs turned,
time to win.
growled Moody, as the ferret bounced higher and
Oh,
higher, squealing
nice
in
maker,
pain.
nice.
Stinking,
Maybe
cowardly,
no. I have
scummy
clear asteroids though. I have clear
things of
asteroids.
doom.
Oh, I better do that
The
right now
ferret
because more
flew
people are
through the
going this
air,
way.
its legs and tail flailing helplessly. Never do that again. Said Moody, speaking each word as the ferret
Actually, this is a visual task.
and bounced upward again. Professor Moody,
No,
said a shocked
no,
voice.
no,
Professor
no,
McGonagall
no,
was coming down the
no,
marble staircase with her arms full of books. Hello, Professor McGonagall, said Moody calmly, bouncing the ferret still higher. What are you doing?
It's Rose.
Said Professor McGonagall, her eyes following the bouncing ferret's progress through the air. Teaching, said Moody. Teach? Moody! Is that a student? Shrieked Professor McGonagall, the book spilling out of her arms. Yep,
Last
said Moody.
time
No!
I
Cried
saw.
Professor McGonagall, running down the stairs and pulling out her wand. A moment later, with a loud snapping noise, Draco Malfoy had reappeared, lying in a heap on the floor, with his sleek blonde hair all over his now brilliantly pink face. He got to his feet, wincing. Moody, we never used transfiguration as a punishment, said Professor McGonagall weakly. Surely Professor Dumbledore told you that? He might have mentioned it, yes, said Moody, scratching his chin unconcernedly. But I thought a good sharp shock. We give detentions, Moody, or speak to the offender's head of house? I'll do that then, said Moody, staring at Malfoy with great dislike. Malfoy, whose pale eyes were still
Okay,
watering with
let's go.
pain and humiliation, looked
Also, I think,
malevolently at Moody and
lights might
muttered
be
something in
on
which the
again.
words,
So
"My
if they are, I'm gonna-
were distinguishable.
What?
Oh yeah, said Moody quietly, limping
Oh,
forward
crap.
a few steps.
That
The
makes me
dull
look sus,
clunk
doesn't
of
it?
his wooden leg echoing
I'm
down
Noisemaker
the
too,
hall.
so I can't die.
Well, I know your father, a old boy. You tell him Moody's keeping a close eye on his son. You tell him that from me. Now, your head of house will be Snape, will it?
Please don't die.
Yes, said Malfoy resentfully. Another old friend, growled Moody. I've been looking forward to a chat with old Snape. Come on, you. And he seized Malfoy's upper arm and marched him off toward the dungeons.
I'm terrible at that.
Professor McGonagall stared anxiously
Even though it's
after
easy,
them for a
that
few moments,
sucks.
then waved her wand at her fallen books, causing them to soar up into the air and back
I'm
into
gonna
her
finish that
arms.
task when somebody's near it.
Don't talk to me, Ron said quietly to Harry and
You could tell
Hermione
people I
as
have
they
a
sat
visual.
down at the Gryffindor table a few minutes later, surrounded by excited talk on all sides about what had just happened. Why not? Said Hermione in surprise. Because I wanted to, said said Ron, his eyes closed
Bruh.
and an uplifted expression on his face. Draco
Bruh.
amazing bouncing ferret. Harry and Hermione both laughed, and Hermione began doling beef casserole onto each of their plates. He
Well,
could have really hurt
I think I might be ending the
Malfoy,
video.
she said. It was good, really, that Professor McGonagall stopped it. Hermione, said Ron furiously, his eyes snapping open again, you're ruining the best moment of my life. Hermione made an impatient noise and began to eat at top speed again. Don't tell me you're going back to the library this evening, said Harry, watching her. Got to, said Hermione thickly. Loads to do. But you told us, Professor Vector, it's not schoolwork, she said. Within 5 minutes, she had cleared her plate and departed. No sooner had she gone than her seat was taken by Fred Weasley. Moody, he said. How cool is he?
Okay.
Beyond cool, said George, sitting down opposite Fred. Super cool, said the twins' best friend, Lee Jordan, sliding into the seat beside George.
This makes me sound like a hypocrite, but I like fairness. Because without fairness, then everything basically sucks. Oh, I have swipe card. Okay, I'm gonna do this task. If I do it first try, you have to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for when I post my new videos. If I don't, you just have to subscribe.
Knows what it's like to be out there doing it, said George.
You better subscribe. Alright, time to do my thing.
Fighting the dark arts. You've seen it all, said George.
I wish I could do that task. I miss it. It's fun though. It's fun.
We haven't got
I can't do
it
it anymore
because,
because,
he said in a disappointed voice.
I've got wings.
Chapter 14. The Unforgivable Curses.
Alright, when this match ends, I'm going to go to bed. So, that means I'm ending the video.
Professor Snape, who seemed to have attained new levels of vindictiveness over the summer, gave Neville detention, and Neville returned from it in a state of nervous collapse, having been made to disembowel a barrel full of horned toads. You know why Snape's in such a foul mood, don't you? Said Ron to Harry, as they watched Hermione teaching Neville a scouring charm to remove the frog guts from under his fingernails. Yeah, said Harry, moody. It was common knowledge that Snape really wanted the dark arts job, and he had now failed to get it for the 4th year running. Snape had disliked all of their previous dark arts teachers and showed it, but he seemed strangely wary of displaying overt animosity to Mad-Eye Moody. Indeed, whenever Harry saw the two of them together, at meal times or when they passed in the corridors,
I'm done with my
he had
task.
a distinct impression that Snape was avoiding Moody's eye, whether magical or normal. I reckon Snape's a bit scared of him, you know, Harry said thoughtfully.
Task?
Imagine if Moody turns Snape into a horned toad,
Finish your tasks.
said Ron, his eyes misting
Because
over,
I can't, when
and
you're
bounced
dead, you
him
can
all
talk to other
around
people.
his dungeon. The Gryffindor 4th years were looking forward
gonna-
to Moody's first lesson so much that they arrived early on Thursday lunchtime and queued up outside
they
his
end up being an
classroom
imposter,
before
I'm
the
gonna
bell
freak out.
had even rung. The only person missing was Hermione, who turned up just in time for the lesson. Been in the library, Harry finished her sentence for her. Come on, quick, or we won't get decent seats. They hurried into 3 chairs right in front of the teacher's desk, took out their copies of The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection, and waited,
Oh, by the way,
unusually quiet. Soon they heard Moody's distinctive clunking footsteps coming down the corridor, and he entered the room, looking as strange and frightening as ever. They could just see his clawed wooden foot protruding from underneath his robes.
Like,
You can
pretty
put
soon I'm
those
gonna make
away,
a,
he growled, stumping over to his desk and sitting down. Those books, you won't need them. They returned
oh, by the way,
books to
Cyan
their
is
bags.
imposter.
Ron
If you didn't know that,
looking at
Cyan
Snape.
is imposter.
Moody took out his belt, shook his long mane of grizzled grey hair out
So I
of
don't like
his
Cyan
twisted
that
and
much.
scarred face, and began
okay.
to call out names, his normal eye moving steadily down the list, while his magical eye swiveled around, fixing upon each student as he or she answered. Right then,
Yeah.
he said, when the last person had declared themselves present. I've had a letter from Professor Lupin about this class. Seems you've had a pretty thorough grounding in tackling dark creatures. You've covered boggats, red caps, inky punks, brindley lows, kappas, and werewolves. Is that right? There was a general murmur of assent. But you're behind, very behind on dealing with curses,
let's go.
said Moody. So,
All right.
I'm here to bring you up to
So,
scratch on what wizards can
thank
do
you for
to each
watching.
other. I've got 1 year to
And
teach you how to deal with dark.
thank you for
Are
watching.
you staying?
I hope you
Ron
enjoyed this
blurted
video.
out.
It was
Moody's magical
kind of
eyes
different from
spun
the
around
other
to
ones.
stare at Ron. Ron looked
And I am
extremely
sorry
apprehensive,
there was
but after a
probably
moment,
background
Moody
noises.
smiled. The first time Harry had seen him do
Real
so,
quick, let me know.
the effect
Press
was
this.
to make his heavily
Thank you
scarred
for
face look
watching.
more